And that kind of brings us to the next story. This one again is from CNBC. Home buyers are finally catching a break as new listings rise and mortgage rates drop. So the new listing inventory, they jumped 4% for the 4-week period ending in July 4th compared to the same period 1 year ago. And this data is according to Redfin. They were up 3% from the same time in 2019, and it was the first time new supply topped pre-pandy levels. So the number of active listings is still down 32% from a year ago, but that's actually the smallest annual drop since early February. Active listings are now up 8% for the 2021 low in early March. This quote is from Daryl Fairweather. She's a chief economist at Redfin. Many buyers have backed away from the housing market and are waiting until more and better homes are listed. Buyers don't have the same sense of urgency that they did at the beginning of the year, and they aren't racing to buy before prices increase because asking prices have already increased and stabilized. Well, as we just talked about, it seems to be more of an increase in inventory. So this is where some of the discrepancy comes in, and what we are feeling as real estate agents, what we're sensing for our clients, and what some of the news reports are that may seem a little bit more sensational. So home prices were up 15.4% in May compared with May of 2020, according to CoreLogic. Prices, however, are projected by CoreLogic economists to increase 3.4% by May of 2022. First-time home buyers are hitting a wall in many places around the country as the pace of home price rise outpaces the benefits of lower borrowing costs. Younger and the first-time buyers, including younger millennials, are faced with the challenge of having sufficient savings, down payment, closing costs, and cash reserves. That was Frank Martell, president and CEO of CoreLogic. Mortgage rates, while historically low, have been on a roller coaster. Let me skip to some of these other quotes here. Despite the pessimism in home buying conditions, we expect demand for housing to persist at an elevated level through the rest of the year. That was Doug Duncan, Fannie Mae's chief economist. So what it seems like we're seeing is a trickle of inventory hitting the market. It is up 4%. So inventory is getting better, slower and slower. And the pace at which buyers are absorbing that inventory is a little bit slower. But I think whenever you have an increase in inventory at all from a market that is really pressed for inventory, all of the real estate agents, we're going to kind of feel that additional inventory hit the market. And the way we feel it is by fewer buyers making offers on the same property. So instead of having the 20 offers, you get the 5 to 3 offers, and you'll see a little bit more days on market. So let me add Dan back to the conversation because he had a massive power outage. During that.
Literally. Hold on.
How's it going, Dan? Welcome back.
I think we're good. Am I back in focus? Yeah, literally had to deal with a major power outage. So, all right, we're good.
All right. So we were just talking about this article. The next article there, the home buyers are finally catching a break as new listing rise and mortgage rates drop. But then in the content of the article, they had several people saying that they feel like people are pulling back. But in my market, I don't feel like buyers are pulling back that much. I think buyers are still searching. They're just finally starting to find what they're looking for, and there's more inventory. What are you seeing?
Well, same, but for me personally, I'm teetering more towards listings right now. So there are less buyers, but it's just kind of more my focus. It's not really, it's not that I'm seeing less buyers. I'm still getting the same buyer leads and same amount. I'm just working with less because I'm more focused on listings and sellers at the moment. But I don't think buyers are pulling back. I mean, I think there's a whole fatigue thing, and I feel like we're through that, if that makes any sense. Like, as frustrating as it was, I think losing out to 30 other offers is very frustrating. Losing out to 2 or 3 is like, oh, okay, well, we were at least top 4.
You were in the game.
You were in the game. We're 50 grand under, but there's only 4 other offers. So, I feel like that. And then on the buy side, we've been seeing less. I got a VA offer accepted against no other offers. We did not have to compete. So that's unheard of for up until even 3 months ago, so I believe there's a big settling, that's coming, and it's we'll call it a cooling, not a settling. Right. And I think it's good. I don't believe that interest rates should stay this low. I think they have to go up to kind of cool, because Who said it yesterday? Who's our friend from the UK?
That was Rachel.
Yeah, so she said it really well, which is, if prices keep, because they're up 15% from just a year ago. So even if rates stay low, eventually at some point the house is still going to be too expensive. You're still going to price too many buyers out. So
Yeah.
if you bring those rates up, even not over 4, I think that a lot of the conversation was yesterday was, like someone said double, and no one's saying that rates are going to double, but
No.
even if they went to 3.5 or closer to 4, I think that would settle a lot of buyers, and then bring the home prices down a little bit, or at least calm them to where then sellers would get off the fence and go, okay, cool, I can sell now and buy, and interest rates are still crazy low.
I agree with you in part, but if you recall 2-3 years ago, we were begging sellers to go ahead and sell and list your property, get it on the market, and then we'll worry about what to find. Because if you put in an offer to a home that's contingent upon the sale of your property, you're going to have to be at or above list price. And I'm talking about the old market, right?
Yeah.
And these days, of course, you're at or above list price. But in the old days, you're going to be at or above list price. And I can't give you the 5 to 10% savings through negotiation that I could if you didn't have a contingency on the close and sale of the property. So even back then, we were begging sellers to do the same thing. And they were always like, well, I'm nervous that I won't find somewhere to go. I'm actually having more sellers now be like, yeah, screw it. Let's throw it on the market and we'll find a rental or do something.
Because they know they're going to get a crazy price.
Yeah, they're getting a crazy price. So it's the same. I think it's the same discussion. It's just on different sides of it. You're going to get a crazy sale price now, but in the future, when it is a great buyer's market, you're going to get a crazy good price when you buy if you don't have the contingency.
Right.
So either way, it's always best to go ahead and list your property, see if you can negotiate some kind of delays, get that contingency off of you so that you can make a better offer. And before we go too much further, I want to make a bit of a love connection. Christina M. Smallhorn, she joins us. Hi. She says, hello, gentlemen. Hello. I noticed she has her 100,000 subscribers icon in her. Yes. So let's clap it up for Christina. Yay. So guys, I don't know if you know how she
that's amazing.
She's a YouTuber and she's been joining our show for a long time. And we're proud to be a contributor to her 100,000. We think if any of you guys comment on our show regularly, you could also be Christina. She said, price it fair and let the market dictate the price, which is good.
So I kind of wanted to go off of that point, and I'm starting to have these conversations with sellers now. It's because it used to be, all right, everything dictates the house is worth 450. And they're like, well, we want to list it at 5. Cool, let's list it at 5. Like, okay,
okay, yeah.
But now
that's going away.
Yeah, to me, the conversation is switching, and it's more, and I just had this this conversation at the listing appointment on Saturday, which was, kind of what she said, price it fair. I really, really urge them to price it compellingly, meaning you're not just going to get anyone, because there is, although there's 0 listings active, within a mile of this house, this new listing that I have. So that's good. But I still said, I'm going to urge you to price it very, very compellingly. So we get the max amount of buyers on this. And then the good news is I'm going to be able to negotiate the best possible scenario for you. And she's not buying. So she's just selling. And fortunately they listed. So they listened. So I'm really excited about, being able to have that conversation and being knowledgeable enough to have sellers listen to me. So I would urge you guys, listing agents out there, have that conversation with them. Just kind of more of the under promise, over deliver thing. Like, start throwing that in, because the market is, I think prices still have to be very compelling nowadays to get that. I don't think it's the, well, Zillow says, okay, well, I don't care. Let's listen to what Zillow says. I don't think we can get that right now.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a price it fair and let the market dictate the price, just like Christina says.
Yeah. She said, thanks, fellas. You're welcome, Christina. Oh, and on the love connection I was talking about, search Clubhouse for ADU. I don't know if you've met the ADU guy, but he was talking this morning in one of the Clubhouse rooms in the Real Estate All Day group.
About, I thought the love connection was Christina to her 1,000 followers on YouTube.
I guess so. I mean, that could be. I'm sure she loves every one of her followers too. But the ADU guy was talking about tiny dwellings and how people are converting buses, and there's services out there that basically you could park a bus or an Airstream in your driveway, and you get to use it for free, and you just kind of reserve the times that you want to use it. You didn't have to pay for it at all. And there's a company that'll park it in your driveway, and then they rent it out So there's someone living in your driveway in that Airstream, and then you get to use it and have your Airstream on. So it's basically like an Airbnb,
but at your house,
outside
of your house.
Yeah, where I guess where places where POAs would allow that kind of thing. But I thought that was like,
That's
I never thought of that, but that's a really interesting business model. Anyway, thanks for joining.
Yeah.
If you haven't followed Christina and her YouTube channel, you got to check it out because she does a lot of tiny home stuff. Antonio, he's joining us. What up, gentlemen? Hey, man, thanks for joining the show.